guest tonight is one of Jamaica's renowned pianists. He is one of the veteran judges for the TVJ's All Together Sing. He has appeared with many top musicians on the BET Jazz Network and also the Word Network. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Dennis Rushton, live on the Music Hacks Network.
Yes, sir.
Sir, the great.
Oh, boy.
This will be a memorable occasion on the Music Hacks Network. I have been counting the days when we first decided last week that this week will be your week to be featured on the network.
Oh, boy, I tell you.
So what has been going on?
Well, COVID has been going on. So we've had to make a lot of adjustment. I am pretty much just planning the way forward and taking it one day at a time. In the meantime, at least church has opened up, so I have an opportunity to play, albeit the only opportunity, but still grateful, still giving thanks,
Right. But how have you survived the pandemic though? What were some of the strategies that you had, to sort of beat this thing?
Well, I've just been pretty much living day to day, because entertainment has been locked down. From March last year to now, there has not been much opportunities to play or perform, or record, because so it's been very frustrating. But I've just been literally going one day at a time, and crossing the hurdles as I go along. So I'm adjusting. Put it that way.
All right, let me welcome both audiences to the Music Hacks Network. Thanks for tuning in. All right, those persons who are here for the first time, make sure you subscribe and stay with this network and help us grow. All right, also to the persons who have been subscribing, all right, from all these months, and those who are here to support Sir Dennis, thank you for subscribing. I hope you will make this network your home, all right, because there are greater things to come as we move and progress, all right? So, Sir Dennis, I'm going to ask you to give us a little bit of a personality check. Who is Dennis Rushton beyond the music? Most of us don't know you beyond the music.
Well, Dennis Rushton is a fun-loving guy. Dennis Rushton, before I go any further, I'm happily married to Carlisha Rushton, who is a singer herself. Outside of music, you'll find me around a table tennis board. At the moment, I am still a member of the National Table Tennis Association, a council member, board member. So that tells you how serious I am about table tennis. I play up to 3-4 days a week, 4 or 5 hours. So once I'm not playing, you'll find me at a table tennis board or a tournament or something like that. That's pretty much my life. Every now and then I will go and invest in some young people, teach them, motivate them, show them the way forward, show them options, as it relates to the music business, introduce them to people and so on and so forth. That's pretty much my life. And of course, there's All Together Sing.
Yes, man.
That's a summary.
Awesome. Yes, so I like table tennis. It's one of my favorite sports. I don't get enough chance to play it. But when I was young in school, we had a table at school, and trust me, I really love that game.
Yeah, if you're a musician, you will like it. You know,
Yes, man.
the quarter beats, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
ping pong, you know.
Right.
Except
Well,
when you
well,
play, yeah, you hear ping pong, ping pong, ping pong.
oh, you guys probably playing the 16 notes.
Yeah, man, we play 16 notes. We smash back smashes.
But I know the Chinese probably play the 32.
Oh, yeah.
All
No, that's a different level. That's a different level.
right. Yeah, cool, cool. All right, Sir Dennis, I was doing a little bit of research about you. How should I interview you? And some of the stuff I could ask. But I realized that from a very early age, your mom tried to get you into classical music. Right? Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Okay, so at 9, my mom approached my father about introducing me to the piano, and they agreed. And so I went to a lady called Miss Faulkner. She's now deceased. And I did classical music up to grade 7. I passed the grade 6. I think it was a merit. And I was right before I was to do the grade 7 exam. I stopped. I was just tired. I was about 14, 15. I was just tired of, as I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm just tired of reading somebody else's music. Why do I have to copy Beethoven and copy Mozart? Why I can't write my own music and have other people copy me? And so I guess at 14, 15, she realized I was determined to become a musician. And she agreed with me and I stopped doing classical.
Okay.
You want to hear about the other side?
Yes, man. This is what we're
Okay.
here for.
Okay. I'm
Definitely
making
tell
sure I
us.
don't talk too much. You understand?
No,
So
man. That's fine.
did the classical, of course, in church, growing up in a Pentecostal church. I had no, and my father was a associate pastor, assistant pastor. I had no choice but to learn to play by ear, which was very good for me. And
Right.
of course, you know, they play all type of music there. And then when I got to Excel Community College, I met John Williams.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
everything changed right there. Because John
Yes.
taught me mental, jazz, pop, reggae, ska, everything that's not classical. He taught me. And he invested in me. And I mean, he knows that every interview that I've ever done or will ever do, I will always say thank you to John Williams.
Awesome.
He took me on shows. At one point I was like his assistant, so I met a lot of people, and that's where it all started, you know, in terms
Okay.
of what I am today. And then I met Floyd Folks, who took me to Devon House. He gave me my first pop gig, and that was quite an experience because we had to be learning to play. I had to be learning to play jazz now and reggae.
Awesome.
By this time, I was a big man, you know. In my
All right.
20s,
But,
you know,
but how did your mother respond to your decision?
to become a full-time musician.
Yes, when you told them that you actually weren't feeling the classical sort of
Um,
vibe.
she didn't mind because of the way I explained myself. I told her I was just tired of reading this piece of music every day, and you know, the what you call it now, the discipline of classical. At the time, I didn't appreciate it. I appreciate it
Okay.
now. And no, I'm sorry, I did just finish the grade 8 and LRSM. But at that time, I was just sick and tired of doing 4, 5, 6 hours a day practicing classical pieces, you know.
All right. So what has caused the change now that you are more aware of the pros that it would have brought to you then?
Well, I now understand that if I had finished, it would have made me a more disciplined musician. So,
Okay.
you know, and it's good to complete things.
Awesome.
I'm known not to complete things. Once I think I've learned enough, I just
Yeah.
call it a day.
Mm.
You know, so um if I had known then what I know now, I would have completed it. I don't know what difference it would have made in the Jamaican context, because there are not very many opportunities to play classical music in Jamaica. And if I was living in Europe or one of those places where classical is a big thing, you know, but in Jamaica, we basically play pop or gospel or jazz.
Or mostly reggae.
And reggae. I mean, I don't see anybody on a reggae stage reading.
True. All right. But I think definitely it has its place, and it probably it's a lucrative genre to venture into if that's what you love. All right.
Right. As long as you can find a place that will facilitate it, yes, sure.
Definitely. All right. So let's look now further into your development. I watching some of these clips that are on YouTube or on social media. You are a very, very creative musician, I must say, in my opinion. And I know a lot of the persons who are on Zoom and YouTube will attest to that. All right. What sparks your creativity?
Boy, that's pretty hard to say, except that I am driven by nature. I will jump in the car and drive, and once my wife is available, we'll just go in the car and drive to the country. And just by seeing the sea and the flowers and the clouds and all of those things, I find that it stimulates me. Also, I am known to show up at concerts. I'm one of those musicians who will buy a ticket and go to a live concert. And sit and
you're touching some chords there, Sir Dennis, because you know musicians.
Yes. I will purchase a ticket and go to a concert and watch other people play. And so that way I'll get a lot of ideas. If I'm getting ready for a jazz concert, I'll spend hours, maybe weeks, listening to Art Tatum, Oscar Peterson, Monty Alexander, of course. And all of those things help to improve my melodic vocabulary.
Right. But when we watch you, you know, we see you play with your elbow, and probably I haven't seen you playing with a lot of different parts of your body, and try to get yourself into it, and that is very entertaining. So do you encourage persons who are taking solos to try to be more entertaining where that is concerned?
I would say to people, they ought to be themselves. Don't try to act like anybody else. Just be yourself. Just be who you are. I will tell people I am no longer just a musician, but I am an entertainer. I don't know if you know that I'm called a smashing pianist, right? So I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that really soon.
Well, that came from table tennis. So
that came from...
Right, smashing. Right. So I don't want to be just someone who just sits and plays. You know, there's a part of me that performs. There's a part of me that motivates young musicians. I guess you could call me a teacher. There's a part of me that judges a lot of competitions. Altogether Singing is one of them. So there are different facets. There are different parts of me. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. The smashing pianist. I thought that came from you being, being more aggressive on the keyboard and stuff like that. But came from table tennis.
It came from table tennis. I mean, if you want the backstory, I was playing a young fellow. I think he was about 13 or 14. And table tennis games ended at 11, right? Yeah. And he had me like 7-3. Was his 7, my 3.
Okay.
And this was at the YMCA. It was my first tournament. And the crowd was cheering for him because this little 12-year-old was about to beat this 45-year-old man. And I was not going to have it. So
Okay.
at 7-3, his 7, I smashed him and it went 7-4.
Mm.
And I shouted the
What?
smashing pianist. And
Oh, okay.
at 7-4, I smashed him again. It went to 7-5. And I shouted the smashing pianist. So the service changed at 5-7. And I smashed him again. And it went 6-7.
Yeah.
I smashed him again, cut a long story short, and I 7-7, and again I shouted the smashing pianist. I don't need to tell you that the game ended at 11-7. And the whole arena was saying, the
Whoa.
smashing pianist. So everywhere I go in the table
Yeah.
tennis community, I'm referred to as a smashing pianist. And then I found a
Smashing
way to take it
pianist.
over to the keys.
Awesome.
I started smashing the keys with the head and the elbow and so on and so forth.
Yes, yes, yes. That's where I would have thought that nickname would have come from. But that's a very interesting story. All right.
Thank
All
you.
right, sorry, Dennis. I don't want to sit here all night and try to get all the questions because I know we have a vibrant Zoom and a vibrant YouTube that will
Oh,
be trying to get some of the questions in the Q&A. But let's look a little bit more on your journey. In the intro or in your biography, we learned that you were interviewed or you appeared on the BET Jazz Show and the word show. All right, tell us about that experience.
Oh, well, several years ago, a representative of BET Jazz called a Jamaican musician that I hold in high regard, Mr. Seretse Small, and he asked him to recommend some musicians from across the region.
Mhm.
And they chose 10. I guess they had reviewed my work and stuff, and they chose 10 of us. And I was selected. I was one of the ones that was selected. And we went down to Negril. I think this was in either 99 or 2000. Went down to Negril and performed on the beach. And they showed it several times. I lost count now, but they have shown it on many occasions on the BET Jazz channel to over
Mhm.
135 million people, over 200
Wow,
countries.
wow.
That promotional video literally changed my life because
Mhm.
some of the doors that I tried opening before that, they just refused to open, you know. But after
Okay.
that, I got the key. So I was able, I mean, people who closed doors on me started calling me. And
Right.
a lot of the interviews you've seen me done, I haven't even asked people. People just call me
Mhm.
because of that
Okay.
opportunity. Um,
Definitely.
the Word Network, as you probably have heard, I was music director for Glacier Robinson for a number of years.
Mhm.
So I used to do a lot of promotional gospel events with her. And I was in New York, and her pastor at the time said he was going to put us on the Word Network. And he did it, and we were grateful. He's still on the Word. We were there, we were singing, playing, and he recorded us and put
Mhm.
us on the Word
Okay.
Network. Again, that's second only to TBN. So, that's
Right.
a large international audience.
Yeah, man. Can you share with us at least one of the opportunities that you mentioned that came after you were featured on the network? One of the positives that came as a result of this.
Wow. I think pretty much everything that has happened since has been connected to that big opening. Um,
Mm.
I think everything. I mean, even all together sing and all of those things. People in Jamaica really don't recognize you until you're boss.
Unfortunately.
There's somebody that says, "Just give me the light," and
Yes.
it's after they saw him,
Mm.
boss. They
Right.
gave him the light. You know what I mean? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I think everything that I did after that is
Mm.
connected to that.
Mm.
That really opened a huge door in Jamaica and
Right.
other places.
Awesome. All right. We are proud of you, sir.
Thank you.
It's not every day that you hear of a musician who appears on these big networks. And congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. All right, Sir Dennis. Talk all together, sing, because you are one of the most popular persons that we look forward to see each year. If Dennis is not there, then it's as if the show can't go on. All right, tell us, how did you well, we understand that you got it as a spill-off from the BET network, but really, how did they reach out to you, all right, to be on this show?
Well, the producer of that show, we went to the same high school, the greatest high school in Jamaica, Calabar High School.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know that's debatable though.
Well. I know the school on the wrong side of North Street would want to argue, but we will get into that tonight.
All right, cool.
You know. So he knew me from then, and then we had the same religious background. So he knew me from then. He already knew how I played. He knew me. You know what I mean? And the kind of personality and character he would have wanted to be associated with a children's show. You can read between the lines. So he just asked me to come and judge a choir competition. At first, I was a bit reluctant because I am more into instrumental music than I'm into choral music.
Right.
He said, no, I need you. I want you. I need you on the show. So I said, okay, I will do it. And did it the first week. I said, okay, this is not too bad. By about the third week, I said, yes, I like the show.
Right.
Proud to say I'm the veteran judge. I'm the only judge on it from the inception.
Yes.
And I really do like the show. I'm proud to say that we have discovered a lot of future stars. Romain Verga, his school
Right.
came second. I identified him long before I told Jamaica about him, and I'm proud of him. There are several others, I just can't remember their name now. Jody and Pantry was on All Together Sing.
Yes.
Several others.
Right.
I just can't remember their name now. Princess Tia, you remember that girl? She came second in the other competition.
Right, the other one.
You know, so we have pushed out a lot of stars. You know, Romain obviously being the chief one.
Right. All right. Yes, sir, Dennis. All right. So let's look back at your development now. I know a lot of the pianists or the keyboardists inside there would like to know some of the persons who actually influence your journey. I know you mentioned John Williams already, but who are some of the other persons that actually influence your playing?
Oh, well, there's a long list, which I have on my phone here. I'd have to open the file to look. But primarily outside of John Williams, I did spend some time listening to Margie Wiley. Margie Wiley, back in the days, used to play at Devon House, the grog shop, the same place I used to perform. And I used to go there every night, every Monday night, just to watch her. Unknown to him, I used to watch Dwayne Livingston's guitar teacher, Maurice Gordon. Maurice Gordon, right.
Yes, Dwayne is here, man.
Yeah, man. I used to watch Maurice Gordon every Monday between him and Margie Wiley. And then along the way, every now and then I still get performance tip from Paulette Bellamy. Now, I don't know if you know who Paulette Bellamy is. Put it this way, Paulette Bellamy is my musical grandmother. So when John Williams was doing his grade 8 in piano and his grade 8 in violin, Paulette was his teacher.
Okay.
So you understand the context. My musical brother is Alex Martin Blankin. So John taught both of us. So you can imagine at XED, listen to this now. At XED, you had John Williams, the teacher, Alex Martin and Dennis Rushton were his primary students. Okay, all right.
Right.
In the other department, you had Nigel Staff. Nigel Staff is like the king of dancehall in Jamaica.
Yes, man.
Everybody knows Staff. All right.
Definitely.
You had Harold Davis. You probably know that name. He's not Jamaica Business Development. Plays keyboard. So you had Lenky, the guy who wrote the Diwali rhythm.
Right.
All of us were going to Exed at the same time. And you had Noel David, the guy who wrote the Sing Ting rhythm. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ta-da-da, ta-ta. Right? So we were all at Exed at the same time. So, you know, it was like a music madhouse. You know? So outside of that camp, I spent a lot of time listening to Monty Alexander. By the time I got to about 21, 22, I had about 16 albums of his.
Wow.
And I spent some time listening to Oscar Peterson. So when I want the Caribbean feel, I listen to him.
Okay.
But
Now I see
when I
where
want a
where that
complete
comes
feel,
from.
right? When I want a complete feel, I listen to Oscar. But when I want to improve speed, I listen to Artatum. And then now, when I got older and I wanted to develop my craft even further, I went down to the Ritz-Carlton every Sunday to listen to Andre Campbell play piano. Andre and I are like musical brothers, and he really inspired me. You know, and so that's pretty much a journey. Nowadays, I still go on YouTube and watch different pianists and so on. Joe Sample.
Well, in my opinion, I see more of Oscar there, but I don't know if you would say the same thing. Do you think Oscar has the greatest influence on you?
To be honest with you, I think between John and Monty, because the roles, you'll hear a lot of Monty in the roles. You'll hear a lot of John in the classical, classical. And I've tried to make it feel Caribbean. So it's a cut between Monty Alexander and John Williams, I would say.
Awesome. All right, you know best, sir. Dennis, all right, I'm just the listener.
Yes, I mean, you know, ultimately, I guess Oscar is a salt in the sandwich.
Yes, man, the spice there. Do you think that you have actually accomplished everything that you set out to accomplish? Back at your career.
Yes, except one.
Okay.
Yeah, everything, yes, except one. Sad to say, and I don't want to change the tone of the conversation now, but sad to say, because of certain culture, I wasn't allowed to tour the world. I wasn't allowed to play the kind of music I wanted to play and to play for the people I wanted to play for.
Okay.
And that culture kept back my career. I mean, I'm still hurting over it. I think by now I would have won a Grammy Award.
Definitely.
But those people and that system kept me back. They controlled me, literally controlled me. You can't play here, you can't go there. Those people are not, and so on and so forth. That's still painful, but I'm healing. And my lovely wife is helping me to heal over that, you know. Forget about it. Yeah.
All right. I think that is still prevalent in today's culture because it's a cultural thing, as you said.
Right.
And I know a lot of younger musicians are coming up, right, that are planning to take the saddle as we go on. What would you say to some of these guys who are being controlled as a musician? How would you encourage them?
Quite frankly, because it happened to me, I would tell them to just do what they have to do, as long as it's not immoral, as long as it's not slack and rude, and as long as you're not breaking the law. Go ahead and do what it is you need to do for yourself. Because ultimately, what you do now will affect how you live your life later on. I mean, I'm playing catch up now because I was held back. Yeah, told not to play here, not to play there. I had to turn on some big opportunities. I mean, if you know the fight I got, if you know the fight I got to the BT, yeah, yeah, oh yes. You know, I had to give up some opportunities, income opportunities and opportunities, media opportunities, and so on.
Right.
You know, so I just encourage young musicians to do what you have to do. Just make sure you're not breaking the law. Make sure you're not selling your soul. You know, right?
What are you currently working on now?
Well, right now I'm pretty much exclusively working with my wife and building her career and building us as a team. Having some little challenges at home with the recording equipment and so on. I'm trying to get that fixed. Over the last 5 years, we've been married and we've been slowly writing songs and learning each other's ability. And so we've been performing together and building a repertoire, and she's doing well, and I'm very proud of her. So that's pretty much what we're working on now, hoping to get our, finish up stuff and start putting out recording soon.
All right. Where are some of the other places that both of you perform as a duet?
Sometimes weddings, sometimes funerals, anywhere that people need us, churches, you know, you find us at churches and so on and so forth, restaurants, hotels, as needed.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen on YouTube and Zoom, we are currently speaking with the great, the smashing pianist, Dennis Rushton. All right, if you would like to get in contact with Sir Dennis after this live interview / presentation Q&A, all right, he's now going to tell us his social media contacts where we can actually link up with him on a more personal level than the Music Hacks network. So Dennis, where can we find you on social media?
Instagram, DenRushR, DenRushR on Instagram. Right, that's where you'll find me.
Awesome.
And you can send me a message, or you can follow me on Instagram, and we'll talk.
Right. All right, guys. There you have it. This was a very, very informative interview with Mr. Dennis Rushton. Now, at this time, we are going to take a performance that was pre-recorded by Mr. Rushton. Do enjoy Autumn Leaves. Sir Dennis, that was a great, 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 great rendition of Autumn Leaves. All right. Just a little before we actually go into our Q&A, just tell us a little bit about the tune Autumn Leaves. All right. Just from it, you don't have to get too detailed.
It's a jazz
Yeah.
standard that we all like. If you're going to do jazz, Autumn Leaves is just one of those tunes that you have to learn. You have to learn. You have to. Satin Doll is another one of my favorite. I think Autumn Leaves was written in 1945. I don't remember the name of the composer, but it's just one of my favorite tunes to play in pretty much any key.
Yeah.
Although that was in F major and I like playing it in F, but I'll play it in pretty much any key. And it's just something that anybody can solo on. It's just easy to solo on. The chords are pretty straightforward and you can do just about anything with it.
All right. So when you're playing jazz, do you sort of have that freedom? How do you feel when you are playing jazz?
Jazz for me is a conversation. Jazz to me is the only form of music that allows you to say what you want to say, when you want to say it, and how you want to say it. You cannot do that in reggae. Because in reggae, if you're playing a tune that is tap, ta-na-na-ta, 1 to 2, a C major to a D minor, then you have to sit down and play the C to the D minor for the whole 4 minutes. And the artist expects to hear a certain phrase at a certain point, and you have to do that. Classical, you are supposed to play what you're seeing, what you're reading. Jazz is the only form of music that allows me or allows us as musicians to play what we feel like, as long as we are observing the rules. You know, if you're playing a major chord, then I expect the solo would be a major solo, not a minor. You can't be playing Canada when the chord you're playing is major. But then again, I learned a lot from Monty Alexander Carly. One of the things that what makes Monty so great is because he breaks a lot of rules.
Oh, yes, yes.
Same thing with Oscar Peterson. And that makes it even more interesting, So in the middle of a 4/4, you can go bop and do a 3/4 or swing to a 5/4. And especially if you're playing with brilliant musicians like Dwayne Livingston, Chris Tyrrell, Paul Madden, Smiley, all of these guys, O'Shane Love, saxophone player, you can just do what you want to do when you want to do it. Fitzroy Bennett, Siretsi Small, all those guys.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well said, sir. Well said. All right, I deliberately saved that, didn't tell you about that question because I wanted it to be real and spontaneous because I see how you enjoy yourself when it comes to jazz. All right, so I deliberately didn't say that to you in the sound check because I wanted it to be real. And you did a great job in responding to that.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you agree, Zoom? Yes, Zoom really agreed. Yes. All right. So, bless up yourself, Sir Dennis. All right. At this time, we are going to go into our Q&A. All right. It's the most exciting part of the stream when the presenter and the participants can get to interact. All right. And I'm going to take Fabian Wright from Mandeville first, Minister Fabian Wright, because I know he was trying to get into the stream from early to talk to you, Sir Dennis. All right. The guys on YouTube, welcome also. Please type your questions in the chat and then I will read them as best as possible. All right. Sir Fabian Wright.
Dennis, you said a number of things, and you would be familiar with this face on account of Article as well. I was in the first batch.
Oh, okay.
And I came up being a choir director.
You don't look that old.
Yeah, man, I was the first batch, man. I was leaving high school at that time,
Okay. Okay.
right? And then further up in the time, I was a choir director for Mayday High, then for BB Coke,
Okay.
right? Right. And so, but you spoke about a number of things tonight that really um, resonated with me.
Mhm.
Because when I was leaving high school at the time, I was interested in jazz. As a matter of fact, I still love jazz because jazz
Right.
music, when you sing jazz music, it hits some part of you where normal songs would not.
Right.
Even Autumn Leaves, I learned that song, did it, was practicing it for Jamaica Jazz and Blues,
Oh,
right?
good.
Right. And that time I was going on with Dwight Pinkney and Winsome Benjamin.
Yes. I've
Yes.
performed with those people too. Good.
Right. So it was quite a few, but then you spoke about not being able to do certain things because persons pulled you away from certain environments. I was told one time you can't serve God and Mama, you know, which really contradicts the word scripture. But you know, you're young, so you listen to the seniors. And
Right.
I remember was given a 5-year contract to travel the Caribbean just to do jazz, to
Right.
sing jazz. And I was, literally, given this long lecture. Why you cannot do that? Man, and I look back at that, they're like, if I had not been so stupid, do
I,
what you
I
love.
hope I hope that Chris will exchange our numbers so we can talk off the air. Because I don't want to really answer you, right?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
it's painful, brother. I'm still carrying that pain. Like I said earlier, I've been healing. My wife is my personal therapist, and she's been working on me in terms of getting over that hurdle. I saw something the other day that say I must forgive my parents because they were learning too, you know. And they had to obey the rules of the institution.
Right, right, right.
So they being a leader in the institution, they have to obey the institution. And I was their child, I had to set an example.
Mhm.
I mean, nobody quarrels now. Nobody is upset with me now. I'm not
Right, right,
I
right.
get calls asked to sponsor things. Have
Exactly,
changed,
exactly,
you know.
exactly.
Um, but like I always say, we have to do what we have to do for ourselves. And some way, without getting too religious now, some way God opens other doors, and I dare say bigger doors in his time.
Amen.
You
True.
hear me talk about my wife a lot because that she has kind of helped to keep me grounded. Because she has said to me, if it is that you were not controlled, maybe we would not have met. Maybe you would not be as mature or stable-headed as I am now. Because when you're
True.
young and you're touring all the whole world and you're making $1,000 per show, you go away for a weekend and come home with $3,000-4,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 22, 23, 24, you're driving a Porsche, you have the latest cell phone, you're flying first class, your artist is so and so, it wasn't me, or and so on and so forth. A lot of young musicians get carried away, they don't invest the money, and they get carried away with the girls, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they get carried away with that little thing there.
Yeah,
Get little
yeah, yeah,
high, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Because I wasn't exposed to that life, it pretty much kept me grounded, you know. And I am learning to appreciate that I wasn't allowed to explore, you know. Right. I'm slowly getting there.
All
Well said,
right.
well said, well said.
Bless up, Fabian.
Blessings, blessings.
Yes, Minister Fabian representing from the cool parish of Manchester, Mandeville to be exact. All right. Bless up, Minister Fabian. All right. Wayne Fletcher, the great. You guys have some nicknames. I tell you, it is very amazing. Now we have the Great Wall appearing on camera.
Yes, Mr. Dennis.
Wayne Great Wall Fletcher.
Yes, Wayne.
How you doing, man?
All right, man. Good.
You up now? You might not know me, but I mean, back in the days, we used to be at a lot of venues together. Because I used to work with the great Bonnie Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Come see a man and all them. You see that all over the island.
Okay.
But one thing I want to say, I know you address a point, and the point. Let me clean my camera. Just give me a minute. Yes, the point that you make when you say you didn't get to explore because of a certain organization, and you say you're learning from it. What I like about that, or what I get from it, is that people look up to us so much that they don't even realize that we have feelings,
Right.
and that we hurt sometimes.
Right.
Because sometimes, even for me myself, a lot of people would say, "Oh, they see me on all the big major stage."
Right.
I might not, and everybody does think that all is well.
Right.
So when you point out, when you say no, at your age, and you're still learning how to move along and how to cope with the past,
Right.
that right there was a good message to send across to the youths who are coming along. You understand?
So we can't hold grudges in them.
There you go.
That will kill you.
There you go.
That will kill you.
Because the same organization you're talking about, I remember one time, they used to tell me personally, say, you can't play reggae music.
Oh, yes.
Because it's the devil music.
Right.
That's what I was told. And I'm like saying to myself, when I start to question myself, I'm saying to myself, say, if God give me the gift to play the soca that they, react to more than my native music, what's the difference? You understand what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you saying that, so the younger guys can, take something from that, because it's not easy,
I want you to finish a point, but I
Go
just
ahead,
have
man.
to stick in this.
Go ahead.
Okay. So years ago,
Yes.
the church that I was a member of
Mm-hmm.
sent me to Guyana. This is a true story.
Yes.
And when I say sent me to Guyana, they actually, if I remember correctly, I think they actually paid the way. But even if they didn't pay the way, the fact is they approved me going to Guyana.
Yeah.
And while I was in Guyana at a sister church, church. Right. The pastor came to me and said, play the keyboard, man. So I'm wondering, what do you mean by play?
Yeah.
And I'm playing how I normally play in Jamaica. I'm saying, no, man, play the keyboard. So by the time he said it to me the third time, I got upset. But he didn't know, because I was smiling. But inside, I was upset. So I turned around to the drummer in the middle of the service, and I said to him, soca! And he started a soca, in the real Trinidad rhythm, I don't want to say how I want to say it, but the real Trinidad type of soca,
Yeah, we know.
And the whole church catch a fire.
Right.
The whole church. So for the whole week of the convention, I played soca every night.
That's right.
I'm serious. Yeah. And I did a soca beat to all the songs. Right? Yeah. Well, I came back to Jamaica. So the first Sunday night, I look at the drummer and I say, soca! And him start, and the whole church started catch a fire. Pastor, the senior pastor of the church just came over and looked at me and said,
Yeah.
Not here.
Yes.
No. Yes. What is interesting that the senior pastor of the Jamaican church was the guy who sent that pastor to Guyana. So the guy in Guyana looks up to him. So I'm also learning about social context.
Yes.
in Guyana, it's okay to play soca in that church.
Right.
But the Jamaican equivalent is uncomfortable.
Comfortable.
The Jamaican equivalent is uncomfortable with me playing reggae there.
Wow.
That pastor in Guyana is now in New York.
Mm.
And I don't go to his church anymore. But when he used to invite me and I used to go there, if I start to play reggae in the New York church, the whole church on fire.
Yeah. Bro.
So I had to learn now, okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in Jamaica, you can't play the reggae or the
Yes.
soca because it's offensive to them.
Right.
Fast forward to the church, I go now, Solarfield Chapel. I serve
Yeah.
as a music director. And the first video that you saw, it's courtesy of them. That's Solar there. Now, the first time I went there and they asked me to do a solo, because I didn't want to offend, I played classical.
Yeah, yeah.
And the church was quiet. And they came to me afterward and said, you need to play, you need to play. Because the classical was working at the other church, you know.
Right,
that's
right,
what
right.
they like.
Right, right.
All right. So the next time they asked me to play a solo, I played jazz.
Mm.
And the whole church was on fire.
Yes.
But at my former church, I could never play jazz down there. Because until they say, you're too show off. Yeah. So to condense a point, to summarize a point, context.
Yes.
You can't do something that will offend their brother.
Yes, yeah.
It can't not going to work.
Yeah, right, right.
Right. So for example, I wouldn't go to the turnover and play dancehall. It's just not going to work. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand you exactly.
Go play classical or jazz, it's okay, right?
Yeah. So the next thing again. So you that feeling that you have back then, you or are you now presently? Are you like more, how would I say now, more relaxed, more peace of mind now, present?
Oh yes. I mean, I have come a far way. I am probably about 90% healed. I've come a far way because now I have the opportunity to play whatever I want to play, however I feel led. Let's say that. So if I am in a church that wants classical, how great the what, I'm gonna play that. I show up at a lot at Seventh-day Adventist churches sometimes for various reasons. And I just know when I'm there, it's going to be a classical piece. All right. I play the same How Great Thou Art in a Swallowfield, and I play it in jazz, or I go to church on the Rock, I play it in jazz. You take me into a UPC church now, I'm going to play it in classical. It's the same song, you know. But sometimes you have to change the method.
Yes.
You know, so that's something I'm learning. So I'm fine. I don't have a problem. As a matter of fact, there have been a few times when I've done stuff for officials. And even in the context of them expecting you to play some pop, and now and then I put in a little gospel, you know, market it in a way, you know, that them like, and them stop them hands. I'm talking members of parliament. You know? Hands and so you have to find ways and means to do what you want to do, and just make sure you market it in a way that the people who are listening to you can appreciate.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't want to take up no more time because I mean I can go on and on and on. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, man. Thank you very much. And Dennis, the next thing I want to say to you, boy, you're aging in grace, bro. I said the same thing to when you had the who was that keyboard player again? We have on here that maestro keyboard player there.
Alex Martin Blanky?
I think so. No, Alex. The other one. What's his name again? I remember, but he came on and I tell him the same thing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because I mean, like, you might put on like a pound, but you guys are forever young, man.
Oh well. in my case is God.
Yeah.
I try to keep myself out of mix up.
Yeah.
I don't smoke, I don't drink. I mean, if I go to a wedding and they're going to give me a glass of red wine, I'll take a sip, you know.
Yeah, Oti. That's the name.
Yeah,
Oti. Thank you, Fabian.
and I lately have adjusted my nutrition, so I'm trying to eat a bit more healthy, staying away from the fried chicken, trying to do the vegetable thing and drink a lot of water, room temperature water, and you know, as I'm getting older. But there are two big points though. There are two big points that you can't miss. I play table tennis.
Yeah, I remember that.
I play table tennis, and I'm not talking ping pong now. I'm talking serious table tennis.
Yes.
And also I have a lovely wife. It's very important that a musician has a strong family, a supportive family. It's very important that you know, I have a lovely son who is doing very well in school, and you know, great. He's focused, and I'm grateful for that. So I have the support staff that I need to have around me, the people who love me and care about me, you know. And then having a wife who sings is also a huge blessing, because if we need to practice, we can practice at home.
Yes,
you know,
there you go.
You know, tell me, say, why you play music for? Why you not give up the keyboard? Why you play table tennis for? I mean, we have a board at home, we play table tennis together. If we, we just go, we have a little home studio. It's not public, just for us. And we just go in there and we just make music together, or rehearse, just for rehearsing too, you know. If you know, that's what we want to do. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah. All right, it's nice talking to you, Dennis, and really good hearing those nice, kind words, my brother.
No
Keep
problem,
it up.
man.
Yes,
All right. Bless up yourself, great one.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's venture over to YouTube. Steve D had a similar question to what was being discussed. He was asking how you cope mentally with the reality of the loss of opportunities and having to play catch up at this season. But I think you have exhausted that. We have Kino. We have Orlando. Bless up yourself, Kino. Is there a specific age group that you mentor, Sir Dennis? Kino is asking that.
No, I start as young as 6, 7, and I go all the way up to probably 50 something.
Right.
You know, as the need arises.
Cool.
Right.
All right. There's one from Horace Mason. He said, your interpretation of music is simply amazing. Share some of your approaches. All right. What are your thought processes like when you think music?
Expecting that question.
Yes, man.
Who asked that question? What's the name?
Horace Mason on YouTube.
Horace. Oh, somebody else if I still play bass every now and then when I feel like. Horace, well, my approach is generally visual. So I'm in front of the piano and I start picturing water, then the solo going to start to sound like water. If I want to sound like I'm laughing, then the piano is going to sound like I'm laughing. If I want the audience to have a, let's call it a midnight effect. So I ask the audience to shut their eyes, and I probably even dim the lights. Then the solo would change to match that mood. Because sometimes I want them to meditate. I want them to think about their life as it is now, or the life they want to live. And so my approach to the solo is based on the effect that I want to have on the listener. If I want the listener to laugh, I know exactly what to do. If I want the listener to cry, I know exactly what to do. A matter of fact, I'm not afraid to tell you that's how I want my wife. She kept telling me, no, I'm not going to marry you. Well, I just brought her into the studio and played Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and she was crying. We're now married. If I want, no, it's a true story.
Yeah, man.
So I have I have learned and still learning
Mm.
that I have to be careful what I play because I
Yeah.
literally control the mood of the listeners. You understand?
Mm.
So whatever storyline that comes to mind, whatever melody line that comes to mind, I'll just play it. But it depends
Right.
on what I'm doing or what I'm thinking about at the time.
Awesome, awesome. All right. I'm still looking for some more questions from our live Zoom audience. These guys are doing well tonight with the cheers. All right. There's a question from Malik. If you're playing with a drummer and the person is not listening to what you are saying, what would you do?
Oh, well, I have kind of had those issues. I hardly ever have those issues because usually if I'm putting a band together, I try to put together the best there is. I try to put together a band with intelligent musicians who are sensitive to conversation. Um, so I hardly ever have those problems, but the few times I've been to places and had those issues, I usually end up playing solo. So if I sit in the audience and I realize that the drummer or the bass player is not musically intelligent, or they don't care, or they don't have the discipline that is required, then usually when it's my time to play, I end up playing alone. Because you know, I don't want to be going east and the musician going west. Then the whole thing going to sound awful, you know. So yeah, there are times you have to just go a cappella. As a saxophone player, there may be times you have to go a cappella, or there might be times you may have to just go with the soundtracks because the musicians that you have are not speaking the same language. And if they're not speaking the same language, it just don't make sense. I can go on stage right now with, for example, Paul Madden, Smiley, and Chris Tyrrell without rehearsing. Without rehearsing, we have not performed together in over a year or two, but I can go on stage with them right now without rehearsing, because we speak the same language. And there are several other musicians that come to mind. O'Shane Love on saxophone, Warren Harris on saxophone, Fitzroy Bennett on guitar, Sir Richie Small on guitar, Dwayne Livingston. That way we won't talk about him. He's from another planet.
Yeah, man. All right, awesome. All right, we're gonna take the last question, then we go to a musical rendition from the great man himself. All right. We're gonna take Steve D again. What would you from YouTube? What would be your approach to playing at a smaller church that has weak vocalists?
Whoa, I see Joy Brown on the chat, man. From All Together
Yes,
Sing.
man. Joy's there.
All right, good. Oh, that one is a very touchy topic, a very sensitive topic. I have to be careful how I answer that question. Well, I would work with them until I can build them to the next level. In other words, there's still a story in the Bible about the widow's mite. So if the person has the right motive and the right heart, but they don't sing too good, I would work with them for a while. I would build a relationship with them. And then
Putting on the spot, sir, that is.
after a while, I would suggest to them that they join the usher ministry.
Oh, they... Find a different calling. All right.
Find a different calling. My pastor at Summerfield always says to me, Dennis,
Yeah.
his job is to find people and put them in the areas that they work. Him saying, you play piano, I'll put you on the keyboard. You work with musicians, I'll put you as the band leader. You understand? You're not going to ask me to fly a plane. I'm not a pilot. Just
Right.
so why you have singers in the choir that can't sing? It don't make no sense. And that's one of the reasons, and I'm going to mash some car now. That's one of the reasons why pop music sounds so good. And sometimes the gospel production them drop down because we don't have singers singing and we don't have good musicians playing and recording. You know, you want good recordings, you call Otti or Wire or several other guys who can play and can record and can produce. You know, yeah, I leave it right there.
Well said, well said. On that note, we are going to take a rendition that is entitled Links Market by the great Dennis Rushton. Let's hear it, Zoom. Yes. You're hearing it live and direct on the Music Hacks Network. Guys on YouTube, man, we are having a ball over here on Zoom. The crowd is very interactive tonight with the cheers. Bless up yourself, Zoom. All right, Dwight Samuel is on camera. Dwight, And then we're going to take O'Shane Blacks from Cool Spallings, Clarendon. Dwight.
Night, everyone.
Right. How
Hey,
you?
Uncle Dennis, how you doing?
Yes, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
You're still in Notorious?
Not Brownstown. I'm in
Oh,
Brownstown.
Burton. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I remember you're saying something pertaining playing with drummers, and I remember the Christmas. It was a Christmas concert we have at number 5 Swallowfield.
Right.
With me, Steve, and I was playing drum, and they were doing the tan-tan-na-na-na, and I go ahead and I'll go ahead and tan-tan before you know.
Right.
With the group that you used to play with, Smiley and James, do you still have that band?
Well, yes, I still have that band from time to time. So I was talking earlier about context. So if I am playing somewhere that requires a certain type of drummer, I'll call the drummer that is needed. It requires a certain type of bass playing. Context is very important to me.
Okay.
So depend on where I'm playing or what I'm going to play. So if, for example, if the gig requires more reggae, then I will probably go for a different drummer.
Okay.
If the gig requires jazz, for example, if I'm going to play deep jazz, then I'm going to call Obed Davis. You know, if I'm going to play more rounded music, a little jazz, a little pop, a little reggae, a little everything, then obviously there's nobody around like Chris Terrell, you know, very steady, very stable. If I want a little of everything, but I want a little bit more Caribbean, then obviously James Valentine, you know what I mean? Each gig requires certain musicians depending on where and the context.
Okay.
Right.
But I learned a lot from you and also Dwayne, because I'm not really playing drum as much as I used to anymore. It's mostly bass and keys. Last night I was at a cruise, a convention, and I was there playing bass with Dwayne. He left today to the States.
Which Dwayne?
He's from Bamboo.
Okay.
Yeah, good keys, you know. And you know, I think Living might know him still.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a good. It's like first playing with him, and it's come like a long time we are gel.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes musicians just gel, you know.
Yeah.
And when you gel, it's so easy to flow. I mean, it's like when I'm on stage with when I used to be on stage with Glacier Robinson and my wife, Carlissa. When we're on the stage, we don't even have to look at each other. We just speak the same language. I know when I'm going to chorus or verse. I know if they want me to change the key, even without speaking. A lot of things happen on stage, even without rehearsing. You know what I mean? And once you find that you gel, it's always good to stay together. I mean, a band that I used to love to listen to, and they don't know me, but I used to follow them without them knowing. Ruption. When Ruption used to play, you know, when them play, just amazing, because the guys understood each other.
Yeah.
The same way I feel about Nigel Staff band. I can't remember the name now. His dancehall band. When them guys play, you can hear the synergy. It just
Gel.
Just gel. It just makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Less headaches in rehearsals.
One thing you thought the last, I think that I don't remember the church. You remember the church used to play for in New Kingston, that big building there, the glassy building. It's like a student carib tour or something like that.
I don't remember.
And you said this word to me, and it always stick to me. Whenever you're playing like you're playing BET, and person out there watching you. And
right.
That stick with me.
In other words, if I go to perform and it's 2 people, I'm going to play just as if it were 2,000 people. one of the reasons for that is you just don't know who one of the two persons are.
Yeah.
So you have to I take every gig seriously.
Yeah.
There's no gig that is bigger than others. I mean, they're all important. I know I'm naturally as a human sometimes can't bother. What is in this for me this time? I mean, does this gig make sense? But once you get up there to play,
Yeah.
the people must not know that you're probably struggling and trying to decide if you should play. They must leave with you on their mind so that they can call you back.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Next year.
Awesome. So, Dwight.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, Dwight. All right. We are still moving ahead. All right. O'Shane Blacks from Spalding's, Clarendon. Are you ready, O'Shane?
Yes, Bailey, me always ready, man.
Yes, man.
Good night, peeps.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Yeah, Mr. Dennis Rushton.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're making some good speech, them one. It's very phenomenal. I love it. You know?
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I heard you mention that a name, Cyrus Small, the founder of Avant Academy, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask a very small question because I've been listening to your pieces and it sounds very good. I love it.
Thank you.
What really influence or motivate you towards music?
Okay. So at 15 years old, I'm glad for that question. At 15 years old, O'Shane, I told my mother and father, especially my mother, because my mother was harder to convince that I wanted to become a full-time musician. I mean, mommy never tell me a bad word because she's a pastor, so she, our pastor's wife, so she wasn't going to tell me no bad word. But she was like, what? You have to be a lawyer, doctor, Indian or chief.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, mom, I intend to be a full-time musician, and my dream is to play for the Prime Minister and the Governor General and so on and so forth, and travel the world and play on international networks and so on and so forth, produce my own shows. And because even at 15, I wanted to be a complete musician. I really didn't just want to be a performer. I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a TV personality. I wanted to do the whole thing. And ultimately, my plan is to become an entertainer. So that's what I'm working towards. The plan of, if you don't mind me saying it, eventually, I want to be able to MC weddings and so on and find a way to do it musically alongside with my wife, you know, but we'll talk about that when we get there. To answer your question, so at 15, I told her I wanted to be a full-time musician. By this time, I was practicing a minimum of 5 hours a day, a maximum of 8 to 9 hours per day, and I'm very serious. So I'd get up in the morning, 2 hours early, practice, go to school, Calabar, come from school, practice 2, 3, 4 hours, do the homework, eat dinner, practice another 2, 3 hours. I remember one night at about 9:30 the night, my father came out and said, son, you need to go to your bed now. You have school tomorrow. You can't be making noise on the piano. Remember now, this is not a keyboard, it's a piano. So my neighbors are hearing the piano at 9:30 in the night, 10 o'clock. And I said, okay, daddy. And I continued playing. So I am being disobedient now, right? And at 12 o'clock, I saw my father coming towards me with the belt. This is a 15, 16-year-old. My father, and looking back now, my father was going to beat me because I was married to my passion. Let that sink. Let that sink. It's a deep moment. The place gone quiet now. Yeah. Remember now, my classical teacher used to complain because I wasn't practicing. The problem is now, I was practicing, but I wasn't practicing classical music. I was practicing the things that you hear me play now. Always trying to develop. We didn't have YouTube those days. So by the time I started working, I would buy CDs and cassettes and listen to them. Yeah. So these days I don't buy cassettes and CDs. I just listen to YouTube, you know, if I want to hear something new and fresh. Hope I've answered your question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, man.
Bless up, O'Shane. And guys, we have already interviewed O'Shane. O'Shane was a presenter on this show already. Please check out his video on the Music Hacks Network. He's one of the guys that has over 1,000 views already on the Music Hacks Network. Yes, man.
Nice.
Bless up, O'Shane. I need
Yes,
some
leader, respect,
spoilings. All right, bless up, O'Shane. All right, we're gonna take another rendition while we have just a few more questions. It's about 5 to 10 more minutes, and then we will close the YouTube live stream. But just let us listen to St. Thomas by the great Dennis Rushton. And if you are loving this live stream, right, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube and allow that subscribe icon, man, to go way up. I'm looking for at least 2,000 subscribers tonight after this live stream. All right, I think it is possible. All right, bless up yourself. Let's go to St. Thomas by Dennis Rushton. Zoom! Let's hear a Zoom! Mr. Dennis Rushton, the smashing pianist, live and direct on the Music Hacks Network. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Zoom. Thank you. Yes, sir, Dennis. You are ripping the place tonight with those performances.
Thank you, man.
I mean, I wish we had 3 hours to live stream tonight, but definitely we have to close in a few minutes. But we have 2 persons. Well, Dwight already went. So Paul Johnson is on screen, and then we're going to take Livy. And then we have to close the live stream. Well, I think we have one more question on YouTube, and then we will close the YouTube live stream. So guys, if you're liking this live stream, make sure you hit that like icon at this time. Paul Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Bless up, sir,
Good night.
Paul. Yes, man. Good night.
Yes. Well, Dennis, how you do, Dennis?
All right, man. Oh, Paul. Yes, Paul.
So me make sure go for me and my bass, you know, try motivate myself, you know. Oh, TAT has been a playing about, boy, glad to see you. And
Yeah,
for
man.
all you don't know, I remember the days at Wyman Street, boy. In my late teens, early 20s, we used to climb window just to see the fingers, you know. We didn't have any money to go to any music school, you know, because we just watching church and learn, and God bless us with good, keen hearing. So
Yeah,
the cars that we could pick up, we used to try to get a peep through the window. I was, oh, that him do. And I said earlier on, practice hours. I remember me, myself, James, Steve Mitchell, which was my cousin, 10 hours a day. We used to practice, man, 10 hours a day, man, the good old days.
Yes.
So, one question, Dennis. How you manage to keep that fire all these years? Just keep it, you know, the passion.
Well, I think in my case, it's just a natural passion. I mean, I breathe music. I sleep music. You see, when you talk a while ago, everybody else generally just hear you talking. I don't hear that, you know. I hear F and B flat, and I hear the difference in the pitch. Seriously, I hear the difference in the pitch as you speak.
Yes.
That's what I hear, which is one of the reasons why we can't watch movies, because my wife will watch the movie and watch the storyline. I don't hear the storyline. I hear the car drive off and I say, oh, that's a B flat. I hear the horn blow and it blow in C sharp. So I tend, yeah, so I think music, I see music. That's one of the reasons why I play table tennis. I'm hearing ping, pong, ping, pong. And then when you start to play semi-professionals now, you hear ping, pong, ping, pong, ping, pong. So I'm hearing rhythm. You know what I mean? A horn blow, a chuck pass with a horn. Bah! That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing pitch. So when the thing is inside of you, you don't have to make an effort.
You start your 3D.
Right, it just in you.
Yes.
You know, it's like you can call TD Jakes to preach anytime because it's just in him.
Wake him and say preach.
Yeah, it's just in him. Right.
Well, we're glad for people like you in the business, Dennis, because for some of us who are part-time musicians, because we have other careers, sometimes it's really challenging to get that, to get those time in as you get older and your priorities change. But listening to person like you play, it brings back some good nostalgic memory. And trust me, man, I had to go for the bass and take it out. Trust me. Remember the good old days, you know? And we had some jam sessions in the past together, so do I said earlier, you know?
Yes, you remember when we used to go to the Windham with Seriously Small?
Yes,
and the
man, and Grog Shop and all these things.
Grog Shop, and when Alex used to be at Pegasus, and we used to go there every Tuesday night and listen to them play. Yes, man.
Long time, Dennis, man. We walk late night. We not even have car.
Yes, I remember those days.
Music. Just church lock up with women. Okay. I remember those good old days, man. Trust me, man. Trust me.
Yes,
so
man.
We're glad to people like you in the business. Trust me.
Thank you, man.
You know?
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Dennis.
Thank you, for.
Bless up, Paul. Bless up. Bless up.
All right.
All right. Big bass. All right. We have two more questions on YouTube, and then we'll ask. Well, the question, the conversation between Livy and Dennis. We want to hear that. That must be a great conversation. So we're gonna leave that for the two aliens to battle that out before we close our live stream. But let us take these two questions from YouTube. All right, Brando is asking, is it okay to adjust just like you are playing at a show for the people to the dance? I think he's asking how do you adjust your playing to suit the type of mood or what is happening in the crowd? How do you adjust to suit that?
Okay, so once I hit the stage, or before I hit the stage, I look at the audience. If the audience has a lot of young people meaning 30 and under, I may adjust my set list. So let's say I'm playing at a pop gig. I will play more modern music, so I'll hit some John Legends and some things like that. If I look outside and I see people who are 50, 60, 70, then I'm going to go for some jazz standards because they can relate to it. So I choose my set list based on the persons in the audience. Right. And I may even adjust how I play. But first off, I adjust what I play, you know, because I can't do a gig for 50 60, 70, 80-year-olds, the kind of music that they like, and then go do that for kindergarten. Just to give you a extreme example. So
Okay.
I look at the audience. In summary, I look at the audience, I kind of size them up, figure out their age group, figure out their social class too. That's very important. So if I show up at a gig and is mostly looking at the people, how they look or how they behave, they are more from the inner city, then a lot of what I play going to have a dancehall feel. So the drum and bass might be dancehall, but I'll play jazz on top of that. I turn up at another gig that is so-called mid-class, then the musical feel may change. I may go more reggae or I may go straight jazz, you know, because I have to be appropriate. Because it's very important to be appropriate.
Right. Awesome. All right. Let's. There's so many questions on YouTube. I want to get them in really quick before we cut the live stream on YouTube. Those persons who are on YouTube, you can probably hop over to Zoom because I have asked Dennis to say a little bit long, like 5 more minutes to the persons on Zoom. We're not gonna keep him too long. But right. So those persons on YouTube, you can hop over to the Zoom. Please look in the description on the channel. You will find the Zoom link in the LINKTR.EE app. All right. Dwayne Davis asking. He's saying he's a local drummer at his church.
Right.
He wants to know how he can branch out to become a pro musician beyond his church.
Well, if all he's doing is playing drums at church, if he is not a trained musician, I would suggest that he signs up with a music school, whether an established music school or find himself an established drummer who can train him. I don't know if I'm allowed to give free advertisement, but somebody like a Chris Tyrrell, Warren Harris, all those guys teach drums. If you can get a number for Desi Jones, I don't know if Desi teaches, but Desi can certainly recommend people and develop his craft so he can play beyond the 4 walls of the church. Once you become good meaning the people who are up there or at the top start recognizing you, then you will get other gigs. Before you know it, you'll be touring all over the world and playing here, there, and everywhere, you know.
Awesome.
But if you just lock up in the 4 walls of your church and nobody don't know you, as we say in Jamaica, then you're really not going to get far, you know. So you have to link up. You have to link up. What I used to do, I used to buy tickets and go to concerts and try to find a way to meet the musicians backstage and give them a phone number, my business card or whatever, and just strike up a conversation and then start to find out where they're going to play, you know, and then just keep showing up. You know, you have to invest in it, you know.
Yeah.
Invest.
Chris, why are you laughing?
Chris, why are you laughing?
Oh Lord, oh man.
You have to
You know where I'm at. All right.
Don't sit
All
down. You
right.
want me to say it, Chris? You want me to say it publicly?
Yes, man. Yes, man. This is Music
Yeah.
Hacks Network, you know.
Yes, man. Buy tickets and go to concerts. So if you hear jazz in a New Kingston, you buy a ticket and go and listen. You hear jazz happening in Mobile, you buy a ticket and listen. Don't sit down waiting on free tickets and and if somebody put out an album, you buy the album, support them. You know what I mean?
Support.
Right,
Awesome. All right. So
And
all right. We have one final question.
One last thing, if you're playing somewhere and it's a free entry, you don't come and just sit down. And you come there every week and sit down. You come there, buy a fruit punch. I mean, you might be able to afford a glass of Hennessy, but you can buy a fruit punch.
Well said. Well said. All right. All right. So we have one final question, then we will take that conversation between Dwayne Livingston and Sir Dennis Rushton. One question from Andrew Goff. Andrew, bless up yourself. You are a great supporter of the Music Hacks Network. Bro, bless up yourself, Andrew. All right. Now, Andrew wants to know if classical is your strongest genre or your preferred genre, whatever.
Well, I don't regard myself as a classical pianist, strictly speaking. I don't regard myself even as a jazz pianist. I would regard myself as a semi-classical jazz pianist. So if you listen to me, you hear a little bit of classical and you hear a little bit of jazz. Dwayne Livingston would say I'm a fusionist. That's my preferred style. So I really don't stick to a genre. I don't want to stick to a genre either. I like to be able to mix it. But yes, I spent 7 years studying classical, and those were my formative years. Yeah.
Well said. All right, guys. Our final conversation will be between the two men who are from a different planet. All right, Mr. Dwayne Livingston and Mr. Dennis Rushton at this time. And if you're liking this live stream, as I said, do hit that like icon and subscribe. All right? Sir Dwayne Livingston, welcome again. You were here last week.
Yeah.
All right. Bless up.
Yes, brother. Sir Rushton.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you played Ceylon?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Right. That's
the first, for everybody listening, that's the first song I ever recorded. First song I ever went into a studio and did. I walked into the studio that day. The man said, I was thinking about you when I made this bass line. And I said, you can play the bass line and listen to this. And I said, Jesus. I heard some bass lines there that I was wondering if I could play back, because I heard some real serious impressive bass lines that day.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Ceylon is one of my original songs.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Livingston played the bass on it, and Siretsy Small played the guitar on it.
Yeah.
Right. Very proud of that piece. A matter of fact, you know how I wrote that piece?
Yeah. You were telling me. Tell me again.
Dale Brown and I were playing at Jamaica House for the Prime Minister, and some lawyers from the Caribbean. At that time, the Prime Minister was a lawyer, and we ran out of tune. We were supposed to just play for an hour, and I think we were doing like an hour and a half. We had enough material for an hour and a half. I had nothing else to play.
Yeah.
And I just looked at Dale Brown and I said, listen, man, F sharp, F, E, A. And I'm just playing. I mean, I'm playing and calling the notes and he was just following me. I must say, but this thing is sound good, man. And I went right after the gig, I went home and recorded the skeleton. And then I think I woke up the next morning and I started, adding the salt and the sugar and the seasoning. And then I called you and you came. And boy,
Yeah.
it just went the next level when you were done with it.
When I recorded about I think I did 2 versions before.
Right.
And I preferred those recordings to the one I did last time. I was, damn man, I wish I could do this over.
Oh boy.
Listen to the bass solo and say, too much stripping, you know. But I mean, I forgive myself now. I was 22 at the time.
Yeah, go on, you did well, man. You did well. And I mean, I must tell the people, everybody who is listening, especially those who are musicians, there are few musicians that have made me feel intimidated. Andre Campbell is one.
Oh,
Dwayne Livingston is one. And what's the name of that guy on violin again?
Kingsley the
Kingsley Pass.
Sick, man.
So
Ridiculous.
if I am going to do a show, and any one of those guys are on the show, I try to make sure that I practice and make sure that my vocabulary is up and kicking, because these guys can play even while they're sleeping. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But Dwayne, I'm very proud of you, though. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks,
and for
brother.
those
Thanks,
who know, he hasn't asked us to say this, but he plays the piano as well as he plays the bass and the guitar. And he sings as well.
Man, if you saw my guitarist last week, you realize I'm not a guitarist.
I saw him.
Yeah, so I just put down the guitar.
Matt Greenwood.
Yeah, Matt Greenwood.
I saw him.
Just tried my head the first day I went in class. I said, "What the hell is going on?" I was like, "Yeah." So, well, how do you feel if I do? Because I'm planning to do a version of Sail On. You know, I want to do a version of Sail On record.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and maybe
I don't have a problem.
Fretless melody. Hold
on. Did we just agree to you doing a recording of Sail On Music Hacks?
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, man.
That is documented, guys. That is documented. All right.
Yes, man. I have no problems with that, brother.
Yeah, man. This is the all right, bro. Tribute to the man who gave me my first chance to record a bass line.
Wow. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure. I'm proud of you. Proud of what you're doing now. Proud of what you used to do. And proud of pushing me to the next level.
You're pushing me too, you know? Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
also,
Chris. Yeah.
Bless up
This is a
yourself,
good
Dwayne.
thing. Yeah. Yeah, man. All right.
Yes, man.
Take it easy.
All right.
All right.
All right. Awesome. There you have it, guys. This has been a live stream from the Music Hacks Network. All right. If you did like this live stream, as I said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. And also share the work that we are doing all over so people can see what we are doing here in Jamaica. All right, guys on YouTube, thank you very much for tuning into this live stream. All right, guys on Zoom, you have been fabulous tonight. I can hear the cheers. All right, you were fabulous, Zoom audience. All right, so we're gonna leave this live stream at this time. As I said, guys on Zoom, don't leave. Mr. Dennis Rushton is going to perform How Great Thou Art. And Sir Dennis, bless up your wife for me.
Yeah, man.
All right, bless up.
I don't know why she's on the Zoom. I don't know why she's so quiet. I'm sure everybody wants to see her beautiful face. Carlisa.
Yes, man. Come on, we can't close the live stream without her saying something.
See her there? See her pretty face?
Bless up, bless up. This is Rushton.
We can't hear you.
Just say anything that comes to mind, man.
Hello.
Good night.
Yes, I've been enjoying the show though. It's very good. It's very good. I like it.
Yes. All right. Let me ask you a question. How does it feel to perform with the great Dennis Rushton as a duet?
Most of the time, I totally forget where I'm at. It comes natural. It's like we're in another place and nobody else is there. Depending on the event, we have a synergy that is unexplainable. He knows what I'm thinking. It's just amazing. It is just amazing. He is an awesome musician. I've learned so much from him. I am inspired by him daily, and it's just a daily. It's just something new every day. It's just awesome. It's an awesome experience. I am blessed.
All right, bless up. Definitely, it was nice having you. Thank you for allowing him to do the sound checks all of this week. I know I took a lot of the time.
Yes.
All right, but I do appreciate you guys. Bless up, Mrs. Rushton. All right, take care. So, guys, we have to close this live stream. If you want to talk some more, hop over to Zoom. The link is in the description, right? The YouTube description. Just click the Linktree app and you will find the Zoom link.